Warning: this video contains graphic content and disturbing material that may not be suitable for all viewers. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to explore a chilling and often overlooked topic: the dark side of the online world and how it's led to real-life tragedies. While the internet connects millions, it can also be a breeding ground for dangerous situations. From online gaming to social platforms, there have been shocking cases where conflicts, bullying, and even simple disagreements have escalated into deadly encounters. How can something that starts in a virtual space lead to murder? Stick around as we break down some of the most disturbing incidents and take a closer look at how the online world has changed the way we interact, starting up with Edward Kong. Edward Kong, a 20-year-old from Newark, New Jersey, was charged with second-degree attempted murder and attempted burglary after traveling to Jacksonville, Florida, to confront a victim he met online through the fantasy video game Archeage. Kong described the victim as a bad person in the game. Kong allegedly entered the victim's home through an unlocked door while wearing all-black clothing, gloves, and a mask. He attacked the victim with a hammer when the victim got up to use the bathroom late Saturday or early Sunday. The victim managed to overpower Kong, and with the help of his stepfather, who was awakened by the victim's screams, they restrained the attacker until authorities arrived. The victim suffered serious head injuries but was later released from the hospital. Daniel Petrick. Daniel Petrick, a 17-year-old from Northeast Ohio, was convicted in October 2007 for shooting his parents after they took away his copy of the video game Halo 3. His father disapproved of violent video games, and after Petrick expressed a desire to purchase the Halo games, his father ordered him to either stop playing them or leave the house. Petrick moved in with his friend Jonathan Johnson for the weekend, where he played the game for up to 18 hours a day. He then secretly bought his own copy of Halo 3 and brought it home, where his father confiscated it and locked it in a safe with a 9mm handgun. On October 20, 2007, a week after the game was taken, Petrick found the key to his father's safe, stole both the game and the gun. Around 7 p.m., Daniel approached his parents while they were sitting on the couch. He asked them to close their eyes, claiming he had a surprise for them, and then shot both of them. His father later recalled feeling his head go numb and seeing blood pouring from his skull. Susan Petrick died from gunshot wounds to her head, arms, and chest. Petrick attempted to stage the crime by placing the gun in his father's hand to make it appear as a murder-suicide.
A plan that I had formulated to make it look like my father had done all this was not plausible. It wasn't even realistic.
During the trial, Petrick was seen crying, and his father expressed support, stating that his son deeply regretted his actions. Petrick was convicted of aggravated murder, attempted aggravated murder, and tampering with evidence. He was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 23 years. The judge suggested that Petrick's obsession with the video game may have led him to believe, like the characters in the game, that death was not real. Zachary Latham. Zachary Latham, an 18-year-old, was charged with first-degree aggravated manslaughter. Zachary Latham lived next to the Durham family in South Jersey. They were neighbors who did not get along. Ultimately, their conflict turned fatal. The mainly dispute centered on Latham for his driving. The Durhams, William Sr., his wife Catherine, and their 2 sons, thought he was reckless at the wheel and confronted him about it multiple times, according to the family's lawyers. Their encounters, which Latham filmed and posted online, became especially charred in April. In one, he taunted Mrs. Durham as a Karen after she complained about his driving. A TikTok video of the episode that Latham posted has been viewed more than 3 million times. This erupted in a bloody clash on May 4th of 2020. Latham had allegedly been harassing Durham's wife for weeks when he tried to run down one of the Durham's sons with his car while the teen was biking down the street. That led to a verbal altercation. Latham drove home and the Durhams followed him, sparking the fatal fight. Latham got into his house and armed himself with a knife and stun gun when he saw the Durhams coming. Latham swung the knife first at Durham's son and missed. When the father then approached Latham, he was struck in the right arm with the knife. Latham at one point used the stun gun on Mr. Durham, then stabbed him in the back and left underarm. Mr. Durham later died due to his injuries. According to Ms. Durham's family, Latham wanted to become TikTok famous. In addition to charging Mr. Latham with manslaughter and other crimes, the Cumberland County prosecutor charged Ms. Durham and her sons with assault and trespass. Tyler Rybaris. Tyler Rybaris, a 25-year-old, was pleaded guilty in November to a total of 51 charges stemming from phony emergency calls he made, including one count of making a false report resulting in the death of 28-year-old Andrew Finch. Barris called in a false report to Kansas police at the behest of two gamers, Casey Viner, 18, and Shane Gaskill, 25. Viner asked Barris to make the call against Gaskill after a game of Call of Duty ended badly. Barris then taunted Gaskill on Twitter direct messages, before Gaskill challenged the California man to swat him. Swatting is the action or practice of making a hoax call to the emergency services in an attempt to bring about the dispatch of a large number of armed police officers to a particular address. Gaskill gave Barris the address to a home where Gaskill had once lived that was then occupied by Finch's family. On December 28, 2017, Barris contacted police to say he was at a home in Wichita, Kansas.
I shot him in the head and he's not breathing anymore.
Where he said he had fatally shot his father and was holding the rest of the family hostage.
I already poured gasoline all over the house. I might just set it on fire.
Officers responded to the address and demanded that anyone inside the home come out. Confused, Andrew Finch, 28, stepped outside where he raised and dropped his hands several times before an officer opened fire. Barris was later sentenced to 150 months for the Kansas charges and 90 months for the California charges. Jinhua K. Jinhua K., a 14-year-old from Arnhem, Netherlands, was charged with the murder of 15-year-old Joyce Winsey Howe. Winsey and Polly W. had been best friends, but after a dispute on Facebook, Polly became so angry that she wanted to kill Winsey. Polly reached out to Jinhua K. through Facebook, asking him to teach Winsey a lesson. Polly and her boyfriend, Wesley C., provided Jinhua with a note containing Winsey's address and information about when she would be home. When Winsey opened her front door, Jinhua attacked her, stabbing her. She died 5 days later from her injuries, and her father was also injured while trying to protect her. In court, he expressed the deep pain he felt, stating, "I didn't feel the pain from the cut in my face. That pain was overshadowed by the immense pain I felt when I saw Winsey lying in a pool of blood." Jinhua claimed he was pressured by Polly and unable to disobey her. Experts testified that he had a severe behavioral disorder with psychopathic tendencies. Polly and Wesley were both sentenced to a maximum of 2 years in juvenile detention. Jinhua was sentenced to 1 year in prison and 3 years in a psychiatric institution. Ali's story. Ali Stevens, a 13-year-old boy, was tragically killed after being lured through social media. 2 teenage boys recruited a girl online to help lead him into a field, where they ultimately murdered him. His father described the event as a situation where they hunted him, tracked him, and executed him through social media. Ali's parents watched as their son left their home, wandering to a field on the other side of their house with his phone in hand. There, the 2 boys, aged 13 and 14, stabbed him to death behind the house. The entire attack had been planned on social media, stemming from a dispute in a chat group. Shortly after Ali left, a boy who knew him knocked on the family's door. Ali's mother was shocked by what he said, unable to fully process it. "I thought, did he just say Ali's been stabbed?" The father and sister rushed to the field, where they found Ali lying in a pool of blood, and he died shortly after. The two teenage boys were convicted of murder, while the 13-year-old girl who lured Ali to the park was convicted of manslaughter. The motive for the murder stemmed from an incident where Ali had seen an image of a younger boy being humiliated and tried to help by forwarding it to the boy's older brother. When the two boys in Ali's Snapchat group found out that he had shared the image, they became enraged, believing he had been snitching on them. This conflict led to the fatal attack. Guilherme Alves Costa. Guilherme Alves Costa, an 18-year-old from Brazil, was charged with the murder of 19-year-old Oliveira Bueno da Silva. Both Costa and da Silva were professional Call of Duty players who met online, with da Silva being a member of FBI Esports, Fantastic Brazil Impact, and Costa part of Gamers Elite. Costa stabbed da Silva in the Pirituba district of São Paulo and filmed the crime, sharing the video in a WhatsApp group with other team members. He turned himself in at a police station about half an hour after the murder. When questioned by police about his actions, he responded, "Because I wanted to." Costa later claimed he was sane and had been planning the murder for 2 weeks. In addition, Costa reportedly wrote a 52-page book detailing his mission to kill more people. Authorities do not believe he has killed anyone else connected to the game, noting that he has no prior criminal record and has remained calm since his arrest. Costa's arrest is temporary, and he is expected to undergo a psychiatric evaluation to determine the conditions under which he will stand trial. Houston Schlicker. Houston Schlicker, a 15-year-old from Phoenix, was sentenced to 20 years in prison for killing his father over a disagreement about MySpace. The teenager stated that he shot his father because his father wouldn't allow him to use the internet. Houston told detectives that he had considered committing suicide in front of his father after finding a 12-gauge shotgun and ammunition in their garage, but instead decided to kill his father and then take his own life. Houston reportedly surprised his father, who was in the kitchen, by approaching him from behind. After the shooting, he called his friend and confessed to what he had done, telling her that he was going to kill himself. She convinced him not to and urged him to call the police and face the situation. Houston explained to detectives that he used the internet to communicate with his friends, and since his father took it away, he became deeply depressed. He also admitted to hating his father for restricting his use of the MySpace website. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Have any additional thoughts about these crimes? Drop a comment below. Stay curious, stay informed, and until next time, bye.